had to be involved in their little clique to get into the party at all, or to even know it was happening. We put posters all around and said, hey, furry party, if you like funny animals, come on over. And that was different. It was open. Anybody who just liked the stuff was welcome. So we had artists show up, but we also had people who were just wanted to come geek out about it like we did.
Those two parties.
Is that when the term furry was coined?
The term furry was very strange. We had a roommate for a while living in our house. We had roommates to help pay for the house. And we had a roommate who was a big gamer, tabletop gamer. And he had a BBS that he ran. People here know what BBSs are? Before the internet, people had computer programs that you could dial into a modem and you could do text and it would keep, there were like subboards and post things. Well, it was like a forum.
A text-based forum.
Text-based forums. He had a BBS that he ran out of his house. We started a BBS in our house called the Tiger King about the same time. And like he was saying, Bruce Pells and his plushy fans, who started calling themselves fuzzy fans in the lossless clubhouse. These are people who collected plush animals as a collection, not for any other reason. Okay? And this guy who called himself Dr. Pepper, this fan who really wasn't a furry to speak of. He would let furries into his DVD games. He didn't mind them, but he really wasn't a furry. Suggested that we were furry fans. He suggested the name.
No, that was Dr. Pepper.
Oh.
His name was Lee Franks.
Lee Franks, yes.
Yeah. So he was the guy that suggested the name and that kind of stuff. Essentially, the first furry party, Ken Sample, happened to be visiting us the time that he was there. Those two first furry parties, at least one or two people would come up to us with a sketchbook and go, I draw stuff like this too. I didn't think anybody else did.
Yep.
So it was working. We were kind of attracting people.
That for the first 5 or so years of furry parties, that was kind of the pattern. We would be holding it and people would walk in and say, you mean other people draw this stuff? Here, what do you think of this? And we'd be like,
So essentially, this was how I loved it. I loved Disney films with animal films, not the princess stuff. Bambi. I saw Bambi when I was 4. I know about this because my parents told me later. The first time they'd taken me to a movie where I didn't cry. I sat on my mother's lap and just for the whole movie.
Precocious little squirrel.
Yeah. 7 years later, it gets re-released as part of Disney's 7-year cycle they used to have. And I bought the Dell comic. I read everything I could put on. I watched every TV special, Wonderful the Color about animation. And I went to see Bambi, and it's like, I'm going, I remember this whole movie. I know what's going to happen. I know what that character's going to say. How do I know that? And then my parents told me, oh yeah, before you saw it, it's like, you just absorbed the movie.
1972, here we go again, Disney's Adventures of Robin Hood, which was their first movie that had no human characters in it. It was entirely funny animal, and it was just, it was like, hello, Shipatiri! It was just a furry bellwether. And then my parents must have caught on to something because they bought me the tie-in comic and a lot of the tie-in books, and I just ate up everything on it. And that was my first attempts at drawing anything, was because I was so blasted by these characters. But
a lot of people, the Disney's Robin Hood was kind of their entry drug. So by '89, it was obvious that science fiction, classic literary science fiction fandom was not interested in having any other fandom piggybacking on them. So the anime cons were just starting out little bitty, tiny things. They're huge now.
let me tell you this.